Joining me now, a member of the so-called Gang of Six who says the time for gridlock is over. Senator Mike Crapo says we need to put partisanship aside and find agreement to reduce government spending and reform our tax code to make it fairer, more competitive, more supportive of economic growth. Senator Crapo, good to have you with us.
Good to be with you.
Senator, let's start with cutting spending. And if I may, I'd like to just sort of put forward a cry here for straightforward language. None of the proposals that we're looking at, not the Ryan proposal, not the Boehner proposal, not the Reid proposal, not the McConnell proposal, not even the president's oral guidance on a proposal, would actually cut federal spending, would they?
Well, some of them may get close to it, $5 or $10 billion in the first year, but I think what's critically important to point out is that Congress has incredibly intricate ways to get around budget deals, and pretty much nothing beyond the first year is really enforceable unless you create a whole new budget enforcement mechanism. That's what I've been encouraging. It's what the Gang of Six plan included.
Well, and the Gang of Six, though, never moved to a level of detail and specificity that would result in legislation, at least in anything considered the near term, correct?
Well, we do have detailed language. We will have legislative language soon, and the details are very explicit. But you are correct. The Gang of Six proposal is a very comprehensive paradigm shift for American fiscal policy. It is much broader and much larger than any of the proposals that are on the table to deal with the debt crisis, the debt ceiling battle that we're having right now.
You've said that cut, cap, and balance would be, along with the Gang of Six proposal, perhaps even others, but are essential here. The Senate rejected out of hand the cut, cap, and balance proposal. There is no way in the world that anything but the Boehner proposal is most august seers of the processes that we call the legislative process, at least in Washington, said that anything but the Boehner plan can move forward. Do you agree?
Well, it's starting to look like that, but frankly, I think we need to continue to push on not only for the Boehner proposal, but to continue a focus on trying to get a vote on the balanced budget amendment. And frankly, we need to work more broadly to find a more comprehensive approach like the Gang of Six plan. And let me explain what I mean. If we just had...
Congressman, we have limited time, and if I may, but go ahead. I mean, if you've got a statement to make about the Gang of Six, but I mean that is in the eddies of this process right now, correct?
Well, actually, we need to do all of the above, and the Gang of Six plan, as I've said, is a much broader approach that is going to deal with our debt crisis as opposed to the immediate debt ceiling issue that we are dealing with.
Okay, and if we're talking about reducing deficits over the course of the next decade, reducing debt, reducing federal spending, the Gang of Six would reduce federal spending in 2012 by how much?
Well, what the Gang of Six plan does is it freezes spending and then keeps the rate of growth of spending below the rate of growth of the economy, saving from projected baselines about $2 trillion.
That's the reason I brought it up, Senator. In each of these cases, we are not talking about reducing federal spending. And the national news media continues to aid, abet, and be complicit in the language that suggests to the American people that this is a discussion about reducing spending rather than reducing the rate of growth in federal spending. And in some cases does not even attack the national debt that is overwhelming this country. And don't you agree, please, sir, with me, that it's time for you all on Capitol Hill and the national media to be straightforward about the discussion here?
Oh, I agree, and I think that's one of the reasons why we have to keep the balanced budget amendment debate in play, because having a process protection like the balanced budget amendment would force us not just to reform and control the rate of growth of spending, but to actually cut back and to reach a balance in our budget.
Senator, John Boehner's proposal, it looked like he had a revolt, may have a revolt within his caucus. Everything that the leadership can do has been brought to bear to prepare for tomorrow's vote. Do you believe he will be successful, and what will be the fate of the Boehner legislation should it move to the Senate?
I have to believe that the Speaker ultimately will be able to rally his troops and get the votes necessary to pass his proposal, although that's not an easy thing to give odds to. If it does pass the House, and I do think it will, then we've seen the promise from the House leadership on the Democratic side that they will kill it. I hope that's not the case. Actually, I believe that they may be in a position where they have to accept it if none of the other alternatives that are in play right now have the possibility of passing.
If they should choose to kill that plan in the Senate, the consequences, whatever they might be, would be on the heads of the Democratic leadership and the president. Would you not agree?
Well, I definitely would agree. That will be, if they do that, that will be the second time that they have killed a proposal coming from the House and from the Republican Party to find a solution forward here. And I think it will be very clear they've rejected it.
The first time, of course, being cut cap and balance legislation was
That's right.
rejected. Senator Mike Crapo, we thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.